Who you gonna call?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel for another 1/6 scale figure related video. And as you can see by the title, the thumbnail, and the picture in front of us, today we're taking a look at the Blitzway version 2 Ghostbusters figures. Now I want to start by saying this is a very exciting announcement for a lot of us. Obviously, that original set, that V1 OG set, went for a crap ton of money and still kind of does right now. Maybe it'll slowly go down. Went for a crap ton of money. They were very hard to find, especially that all-in set with the Slimer and everything. And just generally, those who wanted to collect them had to really prepare to make that purchase because they were very, very expensive. And also, Blitzway has done two 1/6 scale versions of the Ecto-1, both from the '84 film, the very first film, and Afterlife as well. So a lot of Ghostbusters love previously from Blitzway, so it's really, really exciting and really cool to see a new 2.0 set of these figures. Now, there have been some really positive changes. Some things new have been included, especially with the all-in set here and the 3-pack that they did with the 3 Doctors in the Doctor 3-pack, as Blitzway is calling it. They've included some really cool exclusive stuff with these two sets. As you can see, of course, because these are the Ghostbusters and they're a team of 4, we're showing the all-in limited to 1,500 set right here. Now, I want to clarify a couple things. Number one, although this set is limited to 1,500 and it is sold out, and it's sold out very quickly, you still can get each one of these Ghostbusters individually. However, the thing that sucks is by the time you go and pay the price for all these individual figures, it's like you're paying the same, if not a little bit more, and you're missing out on those free, quote-unquote, included bonus accessories. Now, those bonus accessories, you'll see it in these photos as we go through them, but you have 2 bonus head sculpts total, and you get that Slimer with the detachable glizzy attachment that goes in his mouth, which is hilarious because it was cool to see the glizzy attachment from the get-go, but the fact that it's removable I think is very clever, and it gives you more options for display. But let's take a look at the photos here, guys. Like I said, I do want to start by saying both this, the 1,500 4-pack, the LE 1,500 4-pack, is sold out. I believe the Doctor 3-pack was limited to 250. Both of these are sold out at the time of the recording of this video, at least on Blitzway USA, Blitzway Japan, I think they call it. Many different sites are sold out. Many retailers that carry them are sold out. There's definitely still some stragglers, though, so don't give up quite yet. I'm not going to share any links in the description of this video. Maybe I will if I find one that's reliable, but I'm not planning on it. But if I find one that's reliable, check the description. There might be a place that still has them available. But with that being said, guys, let's go through these photos and let's talk about it. So, as you could see in the photo that's been on the screen here since we started the video, these guys look great together. And if you have that '84 Ecto-1, which is a massive Grail vehicle, very, very expensive, you could see they look incredible with that Ecto-1. I know a lot of people are probably hoping for a 2.0 or a direct reissue of the '84 Ecto-1. I can't really definitively say that's going to happen. I'm personally kind of leaning towards no. I think maybe they'll do these figures and move on to something else, but who knows? But yeah, the Shining sculpt that's such a huge improvement for me is this Ernie Hudson Zedmore sculpt, because I think they've really, really done him justice here. I feel like in the original set, I just really didn't care for the head sculpt, and I feel like they kind of did him dirty, just like, you know, not all the fans, but some fans care less about him because he wasn't one of the original members. He kind of got hired in with the other 3. But he's one of my favorite Ghostbusters. I thought he had some of the most hilarious, witty lines. And to this day, Ernie Hudson is still killing it at the ripe age of like 75 or 76, however old he is. He's in great shape, and he's just such a witty, funny, likable guy. So definitely really cool to see the head sculpt be so improved in this new version 2 set. I think he looks really, really nice. Some really interesting things you could see here. Here's the limited to 250 Doctor pack, as they're calling it, obviously, because these 3 are the Doctors. You could see some nice improvements to the head sculpts here. The dirty thing that they did, which, you know, I can't say I blame them. It's a marketing tactic. It helps them sell these limited sets. With this 250 3-pack or the LE 1500 4-pack, that was the only way that you get this stance sculpt with a cigarette in his mouth, and that's like his iconic look. I was like, that's kind of dirty that they did that, but nevertheless, obviously that sculpt is awesome. I will tell you guys, I was able to secure myself the 4-pack. I definitely had to pick up that 4-pack. Pricing wise, guys, through Blitzway USA, you're looking at about 1,200 USD for this 4-pack, which, as you see the photos and you see what it comes with, I think that's very fair for 4 full figures. You get these proton pack effects, you get the Alice packs, you get that PKE meter with Spengler and a hand to hold it, which is really cool. There's a lot of really nice stuff. Also, another thing I want to point out, apparently all these sculpts have rolling eyeballs, which is a nice improvement from Blitzway. Also, supposedly the bases are magnetic. Now, that is very curious to me, because obviously with these Alice packs and all the equipment and everything, I wonder how heavy they are. I've only ever handled the Spengler in person. I've seen them, the rest of them, on display in person, but I only ever owned the Spengler because I didn't want to shell out for that 4-pack. So I was like, let me get the Spengler in hand and mess around with it and see what I think of it. And I can tell you one thing, guys. You know, I might be angering some people that have the original set, but the paint apps on that original set to today's standards are very bad. I think Blitzway as a company has come a long, long way with their paint apps since that original set came out. So I hate to disrespect it, but guys, let's be real. Let's live in reality on this one. That original set, the paint apps are really bad. There's a reason a lot of people went in and paid extra to these different customizers that have them repainted. The base sculpts, for the most part, are all pretty dang good, apart from, again, the Zedmore one I felt like was pretty weak, and they've definitely improved that quite a bit with this new set, like I said. But they're looking really good, guys. I like the fitment on the jumpsuits. The patches all look really nice. I'll be the first to tell you guys, we all kind of hone in on different accuracy details with different IPs. When it comes to Ghostbusters, it's kind of shaky for me. I know a lot of you guys that do the custom one-to-one proton packs and everything are really, really honing on those details. So I apologize if I can't be helpful in regard to that in this video. I'm just kind of sharing my thoughts on how I feel the set looks versus the V1. Anything that I could point out that I know off the top of my head, of course, I'll share with you. But there are definitely other guys out there that are better when it comes to the nitty-gritty of the details with Ghostbusters. You guys know when it comes to Star Wars and Predator and things like that, I know a lot about that. But when it comes to Ghostbusters, I concede. I'll leave that to the experts. I personally think this Venkman sculpt right here is very mid. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't know why, but you guys might kind of see it with your eyes, and I'll try to zoom in a little bit if I can. Even from this zoomed in angle right here, I feel like I'm kind of just seeing those top teeth, and it almost looks like he has like Bugs Bunny teeth. I don't know if that's just because of the lighting in these photos. I guess we'll have to see more come time to get it in hand. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of this sculpt. I feel like you kind of lose that Bill Murray likeness a little bit, especially mainly in the mouth area. I don't know. There's just something about it that's a little bit off. I'm glad that's not the only head sculpt, because that is one of the 2 bonus sculpts that are included. The other one, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, coming with stance. I just want to point that out. Not a massive fan of that. I think the Spengler sculpt looks fantastic. Definitely a really huge fan of this. Obviously, this one was very special to get right because the actor died prematurely prior to Afterlife and everything. He died a long time ago. So this is a very special one to get right. Obviously, you see him with that PKE meter. Awesome to see that included again. It looks really nice, and that hand they included to hold it. Definitely a really cool figure, and I'm curious to see how well that hand holds it, because in this photo here, it kind of looks like it might be a little loose, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. As we move on to the Slimer here, kind of talking about those paint apps again. Like I said, on the original set, me personally, looking back at them now, I feel like those paint apps are pretty dang bad to today's standards. Owning the Blitzway Kurt Cobain, which is selling for a crap ton of money, and for good reason. I have that figure. I think the paint apps are excellent. You have etched in veins. You have really nice depth of details in the skin. And seeing these photos here of the new Ghostbusters, I can see a lot of that in those photos. So very, very good sign for the paint apps on these figures. And again, I think it's going to be a huge improvement. Also, the jumpsuits seem to be tailored a little bit better. And I'm sure they've dialed in a lot of the details on the proton packs as well. Again, it just kind of comes down to comparing the two, and if you know a lot about those minor details and stuff, I'm sure it's very easy for you guys to pick out. As I mentioned earlier, you do have the glizzies in his mouth here, but you can remove them, which is pretty cool, and I did not expect that because the original Slimer had just the open mouth, goofy look, as we traditionally see with the Slimer, but it's really cool that they pulled those glizzies in from that one scene, so that's really cool to see, and it's really nice to see options, as I mentioned earlier. When the early pre-orders first went up from a lot of these retailers, not Blitzway directly, they had no information. So a lot of us, including myself, pre-ordered on a whim because, you know, I did say a couple weeks ago, guys, when it comes to the LE 1500 number for the Ghostbusters, I was like, I'm not playing around with that. And I did drop a website link, which I won't mention right now because they are sold out. And a few of you guys actually were able to snag a pre-order from them, which I was really happy to see. Because again, I did briefly mention this earlier, and you saw it on the thumbnail. This sold out in like 60 seconds? It was crazy. And the website didn't lag or anything, to be fair. There was a bit of a delay, though. Like, I just kept refreshing after 9 p.m. EST, which is when they went live. And I was refreshing, and it was delayed by a few minutes before the Buy It Now button was actually clickable, which was really frustrating because, you know, people who aren't used to going for these limited drops wouldn't think to, like, keep refreshing. So I do feel for those who weren't prepared for that. But again, lucky enough for me, I put in my pre-order about a week and a half ago when some of the retailers prematurely put their allotments up. And I did tell a lot of you guys, and I tried my best to make it clear that I would not play around with these. So congrats to those who were able to get these pre-orders in. I know it's tough, and I know it's kind of like a consolation prize to say, like, hey, well, at least you can get the single releases. It sucks because everybody wants the Slimer. Everybody wants all the extra accessories. Interestingly enough, in the original set, we had that, like, barricade as well as the sign that hangs above the firehouse. Unfortunately, they didn't do that stuff again. I think it's a fair trade-off to get the additional head sculpts. I think I'm happy with that. And also, again, the changes to the Slimer I think are pretty cool. These guys just look so great together. Seeing the side angle here of all the head sculpts, again, that Bill Murray sculpt on the Venkman figure I think is way better in its standard form without the open mouth. The Ernie Hudson sculpt is like the winner of the most improved in my opinion. I think he looks great. I love the likeness. I love the paint apps on all of these sculpts. I just think they look really good, guys. And I think I could speak for all of us. You know, Ghostbusters is one of those great classic 80s franchises that is so beloved. So to see something like this in 2025, like the Predator stuff from Hot Toys, as bad as that 87 2.0 is, and the Terminator stuff, and then Blitzway's doing Ghostbusters again, it's just very exciting to see that this stuff hasn't been forgotten, and it's very much alive and well. As I'm talking too much, you could see this is everything that comes with Zedmore here. Again, the bases apparently have a magnetic feature. I don't know how that's going to work. As you can see, there is a pole here, so maybe there's a pole that also comes with it for security reasons. But it does list them as having magnetic bases in the description, and we will hop on over briefly to Blitzway's website as well before we close out the video. You can see that bonus sculpt there for Stance. In my opinion, a must. That is just like his iconic look. Love how the ghost trap looks, the goggles. I think they really just come with everything that you would want. I'm sure some of you guys will think of a couple other things that they could have included, but I think as a base set, it really comes with anything that I would personally want. Here we have Spengler, and as you can see, he comes with everything he really should need. There's that PKE meter fully closed up. We saw it opened in the other photo. Here's Venkman. Again, not a huge fan of that sculpt, and I will say this. Maybe it'll grow on me in person, or if we see more photos of it. Like I said, the lighting in the one photo, it could be because it's so dark and kind of casting a shadow on his mouth. Like I said, it looks kind of weird. It makes it look like he has buck teeth. You know, maybe it's just the lighting. I'm perfectly fine admitting that if it shows up and I like it more. We have some close-ups also of each individual figure. Again, love this head sculpt. Definitely a must for me. And it reminds me of that Kurt Cobain head sculpt because he has a head sculpt where you can put a cigarette in his mouth. And I was surprised at how well it actually held because they put a tiny little hole in his mouth to make it hold. So I wonder if it's something similar with this one, or if maybe it's a magnet or a combination of both. I don't know, but definitely looks really awesome. Love the Spengler sculpt. Like I said, all the sculpts apart from this one right here I really like. And do I think this is awful? No. And something I want to throw in, guys, not a jab at those of you who pre-ordered the Present Toys ones. I did too, guys. I lost like 80 something in NRDs because I canceled them all through Kit, but these just look way better. They're definitely way better, and it's not that much of a price difference. I don't know. I think it was like, what, $200 something getting all of the Present Toys ones versus this one. But you also get the Slimer, and you also get the bonus head sculpts that look better than the ones that come with the Present Toys. So I don't know. I think the Present Toys ones for a third-party offering don't look bad. But then when you hold them up to these, I think these are heaps better. They look way more accurate from what I could tell. And the sculpts just look better painted, better sculpted. Just more like HD details on everything. The gloved hands here, as you can see with Zedmore as we're looking at them. The Alice packs look nicer. Just a lot about it looks way better than the Present Toys versions. And I hate to say that. And if you have those, I'm glad. I hope you guys enjoy them. Like, you know, there's options out there for everybody, which we love to see. Here's the two sculpts here for Venkman. Again, you guys know my thoughts on that. No need to beat a dead horse there for me. Stance, both the sculpts look fantastic, but this is the one to go with for me. It's just much more expressive, and I feel like it's just so iconic for the character. So absolutely love that. Like I said, it is a little dirty, though, that they only included it with the packs, but I totally understand. You got to sell those packs somehow, and it's nice to have something exclusive. I think that's actually all the photos that I personally have saved on this post here that I'm accessing from my Facebook page. Let's jump on over to the Blitzway website now and just take a look at how everything was laid out, all the pricing and everything. Like I mentioned earlier, the MSRP was $1,200 or $11.99, as you can see here, with a deposit of only $99, which I think was very fair. Not no one, but most people aren't going to want to shell out $1,200 right now. I know some people, it's like a peace of mind thing. I got it paid off. I'm not going to get hit by a random invoice. So funny, too, and I don't know how accurate this is, but Blitzway shows how many times a listing was viewed. 17,000 times. That shows you, if that's accurate, how many people had viewed this link. 17,000 people going for less than 1,500 units, because you have retailers selling these limited edition packs. You have Blitzway USA, Blitzway Japan, or Blitzway Asia. I'm sorry if I'm ignorant on that or what they call it, but you get what I'm saying. Like 17,000 people, if that's an accurate number, going for less than 1,500 units because there were some pre-sold by retailers. That's absolutely insane. And again, I tried my best to warn you guys, and I understand the hesitancy to pre-order nowadays, but when it comes to the Ghostbusters, 1,500 is not a lot. But yes, although I've mentioned this throughout this video, as you can see, these are all the different available iterations for getting these figures. Again, these two packs here sold out basically instantly. I think it was like 60 seconds for both of them, or maybe a little bit more for the 3-pack, as some people ran over to that, because at least that does come with the exclusive stuff, the Slimer and the 2 head sculpts. So maybe some people figured, hey, I'll grab this and then I'll grab Zed more because he was not included in that pack. But again, you can get each one of these figures individually. I don't want to click on these because every time you do, the volume like bass boosts, because there is a little video down below here, and I don't know why, but it just automatically plays, and it's very frustrating. So generally speaking, you could have purchased this pack for $1,200, just under $1,200, and then I think this 3-pack here was $900. So definitely a very good value, in my opinion, for what you're getting, considering these figures come with a very substantial accessories, being that proton pack, the neutrino wand, all the little gadgets and everything, the ghost trap. I think it's a very fair value. I feel like other companies charge way more. It really is cool, too, that they have all the specifications for each figure, the height and everything. I think that's really unique. Same thing with the Slimer. I think that's really nice, and the weight is listed out. So very, very interesting. You guys can go through each individual detail slowly. I'm just going to kind of scroll through, but you can see all the stuff listed out that's included with each figure, which is really cool to see. Very nicely detailed. And again, I'm very, very pleased to see the rolling eyeballs, and I'm very, I don't know why it says just magnetic here, because I know some of them actually say magnetic base. I guess that's a typo there, but very interesting, the magnetic base. Like I said, seeing that crotch grabber has me a bit puzzled. I'm guessing that's like a backup, or maybe it's just a pole just in case it falls back. I don't know if that's for, or maybe they're going to show the bases later. I have no idea. I'm very confused by that, but generally speaking, though, guys, I think this is a great value. I know it's crazy because it's so expensive. It's a lot of money, no matter how you swing it. I think the one complaint that I have, I wish the proton packs were somehow USB powered. It looks like they are still battery powered. If we scroll back down to the bottom, it does mention that. You can see it says, yeah, lithium battery, 8 pieces. Each character requires 2. So that's the only complaint that I have. I felt like USB power was becoming more prevalent with a lot of these companies, especially Hot Toys. So I was hoping to see that with these, because Blitzway really, really went crazy on all the electronics and everything for the DeLorean. But, that's not a huge deal breaker for me. It's just like, for $1,200, it should have included some sort of USB power, and they could have easily made it where you could just plug a little cable into the bottom of the proton packs, and it would have been very simple. But I digress. I'm not going to complain too much, but that's going to wrap up this video, guys. Again, I wish I could be a little bit more particular about the individual details. I'm sure there's some other guys that are way better with that than I am. Like I said, we all kind of focus in on certain things, and for me, as much as I love Ghostbusters, I'm not like a die-hard Ghostbusters fan. I'm just a fan. But anyways, that's going to wrap up this video. Definitely let me know in the comments down below what you think of these figures. If you have the V1 set, did you go for the V2 set? Were you unsuccessful in getting the packs? What version did you go for? Of course, love the discussion in the comments as always. Sorry for the delay and the bit of a hiatus I've taken with making videos. I do have some other videos planned. Life just kind of hit me with a sick pet and everything. It's taken up a lot of my time. But hey, here we are. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care. See ya.